Welcome to today's video. As the world races forward in artificial intelligence, Asia, countries like China, Australia, North America, and members of the European Union are already preparing their youngest learners for the AI-powered future, right from elementary school. This video shot by CGTN TV station proves this by showing children in classrooms going through AI lessons in China.
General education in AI will be introduced to Chinese primary and secondary schools from the coming autumn term. Students will receive at least 8 class hours of AI education each year, covering AI-assisted learning, teaching, and research methods. For younger students, AI courses focus on hands-on experiences, introducing basic concepts through interactive learning. In middle school, the emphasis shifts to cognitive learning, helping students understand how AI enhances their studies and daily lives.
Integration of AI studies into their elementary education has helped improve the students' performance at large. Even though they admit there are some challenges, the advantages somehow are more attractive and worth keeping.
Teachers at this primary school in China know exactly when someone isn't paying attention. These headbands measure each student's level of concentration. The information is then directly sent to the teacher's computer and to parents. Despite the chances for false readings, teachers told us the headbands have forced students to become more disciplined.
上课回答我的问题，就是他们的声音会比平常更响亮。
Teachers say the students now pay better attention during class, and that has made them study harder and achieve higher scores.
上课认真听讲，作业做的基本上是全对的。
But not all students are as enthusiastic. This experts and citizens alike are sounding alarms about various aspects of the country's huge push into artificial intelligence. These classrooms are laboratories for future generations. And while these new tools may potentially help some 200 million students raise their grades, just how this all works out won't be apparent until they become adult citizens.
Recently, there was a summit held between China and the EU that was aimed at improving their trade ties. And definitely the aspect of AI being introduced into the elementary education in the European countries is one of the major reasons for these ties. But where does that leave us in Africa, particularly in Kenya? Today we explore how we can join this global movement and bring AI education to our classrooms. Despite the challenges we are facing as a country, Kenya is ranked the 3rd in tech hub and innovation in sub-Saharan Africa. Youth are doing wonders already. Some have even trained to develop devices like humans just because of the hunger they have towards AI and technology. Very incredible, right? Recently, the government collaborated with the Huawei to empower the youth and the digital future, which was shared on the Citizen TV.
The government has reaffirmed its commitment to fostering strategic collaboration with global technology firms as part of its long-term vision to drive national development through innovation, infrastructure, and youth empowerment. Speaking after a meeting with senior representatives from Chinese multinational technology corporation Huawei, government officials emphasized the importance of sustained partnerships in advancing Kenya's digital and economic transformation. The meeting, attended by the Deputy President and the Speaker of the National Assembly, Moses Wetangula, affirmed Huawei's significant presence in Kenya, operating across sectors including ICT infrastructure, skills development, and digital connectivity. They noted that public-private partnerships have played a vital role in preparing thousands of young Kenyans for careers in the fast-growing tech ecosystem.
We believe in technology. Technology will define the future.
We already have an idea on AI, and the government is already working on collaboration efforts to enable the youths to continue in tech savvy. However, we actually need these implementations being done also at the elementary levels of education. Osman Virwani explained the need for the technology to be incorporated into the education system in Kenya about 6 years ago when China was launching its policy of introducing the AI learning into their elementary schools. According to them, artificial intelligence is applicable and cuts across every single sector. He is actually a good example of technology exposure. Also, he continues and explains how we are good in leapfrogging and uptaking technology, like we improve the system of existing phones by introducing M-Pesa, a money transfer system in Kenya. Moreover, he explained that we are more into consuming other people's products, and despite our challenges like electricity, Kenya can still thrive by investing in solar panels in remote areas where we still lack electricity. AI needs to be introduced to the elementary curriculum so that the children can be able to have a competitive advantage at the same rate with other countries globally. Here is a global snapshot of countries that have introduced or are actively implementing AI education at various school levels, plus who has solid policies in place and actual implementation is underway. So the big question is, where are we as Kenyans and Africa? From the map, only Egypt and South Africa have made some strides in introducing AI into their elementary education system. Countries with AI in K-12 curriculum fully implementing from elementary to high school are USA, which is rolling out AI in classrooms state by state, with non-profit organizations and companies like IBM supporting AI learning kits in underserved communities. China has also made AI a national priority. Since 2019, primary school students have had access to AI textbooks. This is almost the same time that one of our tech experts and entrepreneur, Osman Virwani, advocated for embracing of technology into the education system in Kenya.
We need more solutions. We need to inspire a culture of innovation. These were sporadic successes, one-off successes. It's been more than 10 years since M-Pesa. When is the next M-Pesa coming? What are we preparing our next generation for? In fact, 65% of children who will be entering school this year will work in a job that has not been invented yet. 65%. That is not a small statistic. So those skill sets made sense. They don't make sense anymore. Classrooms and desks still look like assembly lines in a factory plant. Bells and clocks remind us to stop what you are doing and move on to the next period, thus blocking a young innovator's mindset, challenging the creative process of the mind. So how do we reconstruct our education system? Can technology help us perform a leapfrog from 844 to 4.0, education 4.0, a more relevant, a more digitalized, a more futuristic system for teaching and learning across formal, non-formal and informal pathways. As Kenya and Africa in general, we have proven performance in leapfrogging. Define Education 4.0 quickly. It is a response to the needs of the next industrial revolution that will actually combine human and technology to make sense of the digital economy that we are already in. It is more collaborative, personalized, global. It is basically anytime, anywhere. Simply put, we are transforming traditional schooling to become knowledge and innovation ecosystems. So a transformed school to become an information ecosystem or an innovation ecosystem can spur intellectual contribution not only to our continent but to the world. Innovation capacity, startup businesses, employment, solving problems locally, creating solutions globally, and eventually that all leads to wealth creation. So it takes a village to raise a child, but it takes an ecosystem to scale an innovation. We need today the enablers, the disruptors, the movers, the shakers of the industry sector, of the education sector, to think through leapfrogging 844 to Education 4.0. Education 4.0 is very unique in that it will take learning to the masses and to the grassroots as well. And isn't that what we want? You can have kiosks, solar kiosks in the rural areas powering learning and teaching as long as they are connected to the cloud. Your mobile device is an access to learning and teaching as well. So distance, language, access and medium will no longer be barriers to learning and teaching. Across the divide, we have Google translators today, and what stops us from Google translating all the ethnicities of Kenya, for example? So with a focus on STEM, TVET, entrepreneurship and innovation, we are ready for new business and jobs. So we need to connect educators and learners across the divide for the 21st century, and that is Education 4.0. Upskilling, reskilling and lifelong learning will become necessary choices for all of us sitting in this room.
He called it transition from 844 to 4.0, an education system that prepares learners from elementary level to the industry world that incorporates technology. Here, there is government funding, teacher training, and collaboration with tech companies which ought to be emulated by Kenyans. China has had national AI in education policy since 2018. AI textbooks in high schools and phased rollouts to primary schools. Beijing has set 8 hours of AI instruction per year, from elementary through high school starting fall 2025. United Arab Emirates also don't want to be left behind and has also introduced AI lessons for children as young as 4 years old with up to 20 hours per year focusing on ethics, prompts, and critical evaluation. South Korea mandated AI education across elementary, middle, and high schools by 2025. Digital AI-powered textbooks for core subjects plus mass teacher training. So the countries which are in progress and in pilot phase, like Singapore, has AI for fun modules in primary schools, ethical AI training for teachers, and also AI-enabled student learning space platform. India, also coming at pace, has had optional AI subject in CBSE in grades 9 to 12 since 2019, pilot AI labs, National NEP 2020 endorsed AI in middle school, and some states integrated the same from grade 6. Australia has also done a marvelous job and has national digital technology curriculum that now embeds AI from year 5 and has generative AI frameworks that was adapted in late 2023. Generally, UK, Germany, Finland, and others in European countries are either piloting or scaling AI education across age groups, building partnerships with universities and industry. Taking examples like UK, who updated computing curriculum, which includes AI topics, launched Tech Fast in June 2025 with 187 million euros to bring AI lessons to all secondary schools. Finland has elements of AI free online, where high school courses include machine learning and ethics. France, Germany, Portugal, Belgium, Austria, Serbia, and Bulgaria have embedded AI under ICT and computer courses. Some have high school level specialization in data science and AI. France recently launched an ambitious plan to integrate AI and digital literacy into education, and they trained 1 million professionals, including teachers. Very incredible. Estonia, a very small country in the European Union, introduced AI and robotics to children as young as 6 years old. They are using block-based coding platforms like Scratch and AI-powered learning tools. So with all this, why would we say that AI education matter, especially for our country, Kenya? In Kenya, AI education isn't just a luxury, it's a necessity. If we want our children to compete globally in the future job markets. From agriculture to health and transportation, name it, AI will transform each and every single sector and industry. And yet, we face real barriers as a country. Take an example of electricity. Some schools actually up to right now as we're speaking still lack electricity in the rural areas. Internet access is still a dream for many within our country. And learning resources and teacher training are very scarce. In fact, teachers who are actually AI prone or AI trained to know about AI are quite few. But does that mean that we wait? I don't think so. Not anymore. It means we do innovate. But what did these other countries that have made it do right? And what policy formulations and implementations did they have that Kenya can learn from? Some of them started small. Take a scenario of a country like Estonia that didn't build giant infrastructure fast. They started with simple visual coding tools and trained teachers gradually. Some of them actually used existing structures. An example is France that integrated AI into existing digital literacy programs that they had. They also ventured into partnerships that actually do matter. For example, China partnered with tech companies for tools and training of their experts and teachers, which is very crucial. They ventured into using localized tools, like the way US uses AI tools customized for local schools and even offline settings. One of the things that we have to actually adhere to and be able to copy from the rest of those countries that have been successful in implementing AI into their system is empowering teachers. These countries have invested in training thousands of teachers as much as they invested in buying the tech devices for both the teachers and also for the students. So for us as Kenyans, these are some of the localized recommendations that we can adapt for ourselves. We can do piloting of AI clubs, where we should start in a few public schools with solar-powered devices and use block-based coding like Scratch to teach logic and basic AI thinking. We should also leverage on NGOs and edtech startups so that we can partner with them and with organizations already working in digital literacy like Elimu and Tunapanda Institute. One of the key aspects that we should not forget about is teaching training first. The teacher training first is where we should, one of the most important aspects of all of them is the teacher training first. We should develop low-cost, mobile-friendly AI training modules for teachers, possibly via the Kenya Institute of Curriculum Development. We should also prioritize offline tools since we have an issue with the internet access. We should use AI learning platforms that work offline or require minimal data like teachable machine and USB-based curriculums. Above them all, we can barely do this without the government support. So we need the government support and policy. Let's lobby the Ministry of Education to include AI literacy in the competency-based curriculum, that is the CBC, starting as early as grade 4. When we embrace all this, I believe that we shall be able to improve and be able to implement the AI into our education system at the elementary level. One thing we know for sure is AI is here to stay. If Kenya doesn't act now, our children may be left behind in a world they shouldn't be leading. Let's not wait for perfect conditions. Let's start with what we have, because even with limited electricity, limited internet, and tight budgets, we have something more powerful. That is the will to transform. Do drop your thoughts in the comments. What do you think it will take for Kenya to bring AI into our classrooms? Like, share, and subscribe for more conversations on tech, education, and Africa's future.